Okay, team, here we go. This is Football 101. This is Coach Q speaking. This is a general refresher course or introduction to some of the high-level rules and objectives of football. Don't assume that anybody knows everything about football. Some of you may know a lot, some of you might not know anything. So here's your introduction to some of the basics that need to be learned before we kind of dive into calling plays and all that kind of stuff. Okay? This is a Word document. I'll be sending this out to you guys. If you don't have this Word document, email me and I can send it to you so you can kind of follow along as we're going through this video. Starting at the top, general information. Start with the field. Okay, we play football on a field that's 100 yards. Okay, so from goal line to goal line, there's 100 yards. On this diagram to the right, this is a picture of a football field. So from end line to end line, it's 100 yards. The end zones, they're labeled end zone, obviously. There's red and there's blue at the bottom. Hash marks, they actually mark off each yard that's on the field. Okay, but if you've ever seen a football field before, I kind of won't go through all of this. If you really want to know, I'll go through it in more detail. But the actual field is 100 yards long, plus the end zones. The end zones are 10 yards each, so it's 120 yards total. Okay. Next thing, there are 11 people on the field per team at a time. Okay, so basketball is 5 on 5. You know, football, it's 11 on 11. Okay, so at any given time, whether we're on offense or defense or special teams, there should be 11 people on our team, no more, no less. Okay, the objective of football. Okay, we have a ball. Obviously, we're trying to advance the ball. We're trying to score more points than our opponent. Okay, that's just like any other sport. But how you can actually go about scoring your points, the number of points that you do earn, depending on how you score, that's kind of where it differs. You know, in basketball, you can shoot a free throw and get 1 point. You can hit a jumper or a layup and get 2 points. You can hit a three-pointer and get 3 points. In football, you actually have 5 ways of scoring. Okay, you can score a touchdown. Touchdowns are worth 6 points. Okay, after you score a touchdown, you have the option of kicking an extra point from like the 2-yard line. If you can kick the ball through the uprights, through the goal posts from the 2-yard line, you get an extra point awarded. So it's a total of 7 points on that score. If you elect to go for a 2-point conversion, what that means is instead of kicking the ball, you're actually going to run a play and try to get the ball into the end zone again. Okay, if you can do that, then that's a 2-point conversion. Okay, so a touchdown, let me back up. A touchdown, then where you get 6 points, that's any play where you, as the team that has the ball, you cross into the opponent's end zone, you cross the goal line with full possession of the ball. Okay, so you can run it in, you can throw the ball to one of your receivers, they can catch it while they're standing in the end zone. Okay, if you can connect to get the ball across the goal line and have possession of it, that's 6 points for us, that's a touchdown. Alright, field goal. A field goal is kicking the ball through the goalpost, kind of like an extra point, except the extra point you only get the opportunity to kick an extra point after you scored a touchdown. If at any other point during the game, whether it's, you know, from the 2-yard line or from the 40-yard line, if you can kick the ball through the uprights, through the goalposts, and score, and it goes through the goalposts, you get 3 points for that. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk strategy. Sometimes, you know, instead of trying to go for the touchdown right away, or if we're not sure we can make it on our last play, we'll kick a field goal and just take 3 points because we got decent kickers. Okay, the last way you can actually score is a safety. Okay, this is actually the only way that the defense can score without a turnover. Ultimately, what this means is if the defense backs the offense up where they are against their own goal line, so they've got the whole field to drive, they got a whole 100 yards to drive, but they actually get tackled in their end zone, then the defense is awarded 2 points, and then the offense has to give the ball back to the defense because they weren't able to advance the ball down the field. Okay, so those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ways you can score in football. They all have different point totals, but when you add it all up, that's why there's so much strategy involved in football. It's not just, you know, score a touchdown every time. If you can do that, perfect, great. That's what we strive for, obviously. But sometimes it's not that simple. Sometimes we got to kick a field goal. Sometimes, you know, we're fortunate enough on defense to get a safety. We definitely want to prevent safeties if we're on offense. We want to block field goals if we're on defense. We want to keep the opponent from scoring, and we want to score as many points as possible. I've kind of alluded to it so far, but there are 3 phases of the game. Okay, there's offense. What I define as offense is any non-special teams play, any play where we're not kicking the ball or nobody's kicking the ball to us, and we have possession of the ball. Okay, so if our offense is on the field, that's when we're the team that's actually trying to advance the ball down the field far enough where we can either score a touchdown or we can either kick a field goal. Okay, defense. Defense is any time where it's a non-kicking play, where no one is kicking the ball and we don't have the ball. So we're now trying to stop the other team from trying to advance the ball down the field. Okay, special teams play. Special teams plays are any plays where someone is going to kick the ball. Okay, typically we kick the ball because we're trying to score points with either extra point or a field goal, or we kick the ball because we've gotten a certain number of downs to move the ball. We weren't able to move the ball as far as we want to, so instead of giving the ball to the other team right there in the middle of the field where we weren't able to move the ball, we're going to kick the ball to our opponent so they have a little further to go. Okay, yeah, I'll talk about that now. So let me point this out here on the field. Actually, I got a better picture. Okay, so if we look at this here, all right, the offense is actually this team on the right. Okay, so if you look, there are your running backs. Here are your running backs right here. Here's your quarterback. Here's your offensive line. And they are moving the ball to the left. Okay, so they're trying to advance the ball to the left. The defense is on the left. They're trying to prevent them from moving the ball. Okay, right now they're in the middle of the field. They're at the 50-yard line. They're advancing to the left. If they have trouble moving the ball, if they aren't able to get the ball past the 50, if they're struggling all of a sudden, we get 4 downs to get 10 yards, and I'll go over that in just a second. But if we're not able to move the ball, instead of giving the ball to the other team right there on the 50-yard line, we can kick the ball. It's called punting. We can punt the ball to the other team and punt the ball down the field, and wherever they catch it, that's where they have to start their drive from. Okay, so if we're on the 50-yard line, we kick the ball all the way down to the 10. Now the offense has to go 90, the other team has to go 90 yards before they can score a touchdown. Whereas if we go for it here on the 50-yard line and we don't make the yards that we're trying to get, we turn the ball over to the other team. Instead of 90 yards they have to go, now they only have to go 50 yards. Okay, so that's kind of where special teams comes into play. Offense and defense are vitally important, obviously, to scoring points and keeping the opponent from scoring points. But special teams are just as important, because teams that have to drive all the way down the field to score, they are less likely to score points as opposed to if we give them a short field. It's a lot harder to score if you have to go 90 yards as opposed to if you only have to go 40 or 50. All right, start of the game. Okay, the game actually starts with a special teams play. Okay, one team is going to kick the ball off. It's called the kickoff, opening kickoff, and you always hear that. Kickoff's at 7 p.m. Okay, that's when the game's going to start. One team is going to kick the ball off to the other team who's going to receive it. Okay, so this is a special teams play. So the team that's kicking, their kickoff team is on the field. The team that is receiving, their kickoff return team is on the field. Okay, so it's a special teams play for both teams because somebody's kicking the ball and possession of the ball is going to change. All right, the line of scrimmage, you'll hear that term a lot. The line of scrimmage is where where everything's going to start. Okay, after a special teams play, there will be a new line of scrimmage. So let's say if we kick the ball off to the other team, they catch the ball and they return it to the 20-yard line. Okay, the 20-yard line is now the line of scrimmage. So what that means is the special teams are going to go off the field. Now the other team's offense is going to come on the field. Our defense is going to come on the field, and they're going to start to run plays from the 20-yard line. Okay? Starting to run those plays from the 20-yard line, we're going to talk down and distance now. You've got 4 downs to get 10 yards. Okay, so you always hear commentators and sports people talking about 1st and 10. Okay, 1st and 10 is always the first down and distance you have after a special teams play, after a change of possession, or even after you've gotten a 1st down. Okay, 1st and 10 means this is your 1st down and you've got to get 10 yards. Okay, if you run a play on offense, or if they run a play on offense, 1st down and 1st and 10, and they get 0 yards, so they run a play and they hand the ball off to the running back gets tackled at the 20-yard line. Okay, so they started on the 20, he got tackled on the 20. Okay, gain of 0 yards, so now it's 2nd and 10. Okay, it's 2nd down and you still got 10 yards to go. Likewise, if they run a play, get tackled again on the 20-yard line, now it's 3rd and 10. Okay, 3rd down, 10 yards to go. 4th down, if they still didn't get any yards, now it's 4th and 10. Okay, so you only get 4 downs to get 10 yards. So now here's where you're going to have to decide, do I want to kick the ball, or do I really want to try to, on this 4th down, do I want to try to go for it and get these 10 yards again? Okay, change of example, let's say they are able to advance the ball. Okay, so on 1st down, let's say the offense picks up 9 yards in the direction that they want to go, so the defense gave up 9 yards. Okay, so now 1st and 10, you gain 9 yards, now it's 2nd and 1. Okay, 2nd and 1 yard to go, because we're trying to move in blocks of 10. Okay, 2nd and 1, let's say the next play we pick up 15 yards. Okay, the offense picks up 15 yards, all they really needed was 1 to earn a new set of downs, so now they advance the ball 15 yards, now their downs reset. So now it's 1st and 10 again from, you know, whatever the yard line was that they got tackled at. Okay, so it's always increments of 4 downs unless you've picked up a 1st down. Okay, once you pick up a 1st down, once you've advanced the ball 10 yards, you get a new set of downs. 1st down, 2nd down, 3rd down, 4th down if it comes to that. Okay, 4th down is usually, like I said, when most of the special teams plays are going to happen, because if you weren't able to get those 10 yards, now you have a decision to make. Let's see. Passing rules. I actually won't go over all of these about who can catch the ball. I'll talk a little bit about that when we talk positions. Where people line up, what their names are, you know, who can touch the ball, who's not allowed to touch the ball, that kind of thing. I'll talk about that when we actually talk about positions, but there's a link here in this Word document if you really want to know all the rules as far as passing is concerned. It actually summarizes it pretty good for what you need to know, so you can follow that link at your own leisure.